I have watched everything in the MCU, and that includes all the TV shows, okay? So when Shang-Chi came out, I was intrigued, but I also kind of expected it to be a big disappointment. After all, Marvel has never really done a good job with Chinese characters. And I'm not just talking about how in the comic books where Shang-Chi was literally colored yellow, or, later golden bronze, all the way up until 1991. Or other gross depictions back in the day. I am sticking only to the MCU. So first, there's Marvel's discomfort with Asians in leadership roles. Like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent May and Daisy basically follow Phil Coulson blindly, faithfully, no matter what. And then, Madame Gao, who appears in Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Defenders, no matter how badass she is as a crime boss, at the end of the day, she, along with the crazy immortal ninjas such as Nobu, they all report to the leader of the Hand, which obviously has to be some rich white woman played by Sigourney Weaver. Just like how the Resistance Army against the Hand, the Chaste, is led by a Stick, an old, blind white dude. I guess that's to be expected. I mean, look at Iron Fist, Chinese people obviously can't protect their own mythical lost city in a different dimension. They need a rich white kid to protect Kunlun, which is supposed to be one of the 7 capital cities of heaven. But in reality, it's based on Kunlunshan, which is the Kunlun mountain ranges in Xinjiang. It does have an important role in Chinese mythology that's somewhat similar to the Kunlun they talk about in Iron Fist. But Marvel basically took the name and went with the "it's a magical place" strategy, like with Tahiti.
There's this mystical place called Kunlun, and it's...
I can answer myself. There's a mystical place called Kunlun.
Oh, this is a joke. Come on.
My parents died in a plane crash.
It's so clear now. I should really put out a video later that actually tells you what Kunlun is about. Going back to cultural appropriations in the MCU, I am obligated to also mention Doctor Strange. We have a mystical order in Asia filled with white people. Fun fact though, the only Asian representation, Wong, they weren't even gonna put him in a movie, okay? Why? Because the character's stereotypical and racially insensitive comic book origins made it, too... I can't even. And then we're moving on to forcing Mandarin Chinese on Cantonese speaking actors. It just sounds so bad. I mean, maybe it's just, my own personal pet peeve because I'm a Mandarin speaker myself. But I'm glad that Cantonese is no longer the only Chinese language you hear on TVs and movies. Since the 2008 Olympics, the world has finally learned that China's capital is not pronounced Peking, but is Beijing. And its official language is actually Mandarin, which is 普通话, the common language. Which does not sound like the old martial arts movies that came out of the Cantonese-speaking Hong Kong, right? But now we have Hong Kong actors like Madame Gao, played by Wei Jing-ho, and Melinda May, played by Mi Na-wen, and others, all being forced to speak Mandarin, even when it makes no sense for them to do so. I mean, for all the TV shows like, Iron Fist and all of that, like, they're in New York City, okay? It's filled with Cantonese speakers, especially, in the underground, shadowy kind of stuff. So for a Chinese crime boss in New York City, Cantonese is a language that would really make a lot more sense. But no, they force her to speak Mandarin, heavily accented Mandarin.
写人的手永远渲染了他人的鲜血，会冷的。
Anyone here speak Chinese?
Which is just jarring, because her English is way better than her Chinese. And the same is done to Melinda May and Jia Ying, who is portrayed by Ji-Chen Lachman. Who is supposed to have lived in China for like thousands of years. Even the rich white boy Iron Fist speaks much better Chinese than Jia Ying.
我们不会伤害你的，别担心。
You speak Chinese?
当然了。
The only explanation I have is that maybe Jai was originally from a clan of ethnic minorities or something and did not speak Mandarin, or just from a province where Mandarin Chinese was not a prevalent dialect. At the end of the day, don't force bad Chinese on people. It breaks their character. It's like if Star Trek decided to give Captain Jean-Luc Picard a French accent.
These the voyage of the Starship Enterprise.
What I would really want to hear on TV is Shanghainese. That would be really 结棍啦. And that leads us to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Like I said, I didn't expect much, but I was pleasantly surprised, for the most part. You know, I was gonna put my review of the movie like right here, right now, but then I realized I had like way too much to say about it. So I'm gonna break this movie into multi-part thing, and in the next episode, we have the detailed analysis of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings from a Chinese perspective. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and a quick reminder that you have the option to like and subscribe so that I have an excuse to buy a microphone to talk into, right? All right, thank you guys.